Out here, the world is made of three things: steel, ice, and angry water. The Bering Sea doesn't care if it's the last day of the king crab season. It seems to save its worst for last. A 30-foot wall of green water crashes over the bow of the Northwestern, turning the deck into a skating rink. Every surface is coated in ice, making the boat dangerously top-heavy. The wind howls, ripping at the men's rain gear, the cold biting through every layer. On deck, the crew moves with a purpose born from experience and fear. One wrong step could be their last. A rogue wave could sweep a man overboard into water so cold it kills in minutes. The sea doesn't give second chances. This is the finale of king crab season. For weeks, these crews have pushed their bodies and boats to the limit, chasing a fortune in red gold. Now the finish line is in sight. They just need to pull the last few strings of pots and get back to Dutch Harbor. But nothing is ever simple out here. The Bering Sea has one final test. Every man is running on fumes, sleep-deprived, aching, hands raw, minds foggy. But they can't stop. The clock is ticking and their quota isn't full yet. They push through pain and cold, driven by the promise of a big payday and the simple desire to go home. In this final furious act, their teamwork will be tested like never before.
The pressure is immense.
Captain Sig Hansen stands in the wheelhouse, eyes fixed on the churning sea. He hasn't slept in over 40 hours, but his focus is absolute. A digital clock counts down the final hours. If they miss the deadline, they face huge fines and lost earnings. Down on deck, the crew works at a frantic pace, a well-oiled machine, each man knowing his job. The crane swings a 700-pound crab pot onto the deck. The men leap into action, wrestling it into position. It's a dangerous dance on a slippery stage. A swinging pot could crush a man in an instant. Fatigue is the silent enemy, dulling senses and slowing reactions. Jake, a deckhand, fights to stay awake after 22 hours on deck. He knows a moment's inattention could be fatal. The cold seeps into his bones, but the pots keep coming. He pushes on, fueled by caffeine and sheer willpower. The stakes are high. A full boat means a life-changing payday. An empty tank means going home with nothing. This final push is where fortunes are made or lost. The pressure to fill the tanks is a heavy weight on every man's shoulders. They ignore pain, cold, and exhaustion, driven by the promise of reward. Every minute counts. The season's outcome hangs in the balance. The Bering Sea's weather can turn in an instant. One moment, a glimpse of sun, the next, a blizzard. Aboard the Time Bandit, Captain Andy Hillstrand stares into a wall of white. Snow falls so thick he can't see the bow. Radar is their only guide, but it can't see the ice rapidly forming on every surface. This isn't just frost, it's tons of frozen seawater making the boat top-heavy and unstable. The only way to fight it? Brute force. The crew goes out with sledgehammers, smashing ice in the middle of a raging storm.
Every swing of the sledgehammer, man, it feels like your arms are gonna fall off, but you can't stop.
One slip and you're over the side. In this cold, you just don't come back up.
Equipment failure is a constant threat. The cold is brutal on machinery, hydraulic lines freeze, engines sputter. On the Cornelia Marie, the generator dies, plunging the deck into darkness. The crew works by headlamps surrounded by moving steel. They must fix the problem together, all while the boat is tossed by the angry sea. Every second counts. Survival depends on teamwork and grit.
From the wheelhouse, the captain plays a high-stakes game of chess with the sea. The fishing's been slow, and the clock is ticking. My gut says, move north, into colder, more dangerous waters. It's a gamble that could pay off, or cost everything.
Timing is everything. A captain must decide how long to soak the pots. Too long and another boat might poach your catch. Too short, and the pots come up empty. Captain Keith Colburn of the Wizard is a master strategist, studying currents, temperatures, and radio chatter. The quota system adds pressure. Each boat has a limit, turning the season into a frantic race. Captains must choose fish in crowded, proven grounds, or risk uncharted territory for a secret honey hole. Tension runs high between captains, all fighting for the same resource. Ultimately, the captain bears the weight of every decision: crew safety, success, and survival. In the final hours, with exhaustion mounting and weather turning, he must decide, push harder or head for home. It's a burden only another captain can truly understand. The wrong call could mean disaster. The right one could mean victory.
The call comes over the loudspeaker. Let's get this last string, boys. Let's go home.
A cheer erupts from the exhausted crew.
This is it, the final set of pots.
Adrenaline surges, pushing back fatigue for one last charge. The crew scrambles into position, the rhythm automatic. The hook snags the buoy line, the winch groans, and the heavy pot rises from the depths.
As the pot breaks the surface, all eyes are on it. Is it full?
The steel cage is hauled over the rail. The door opens, a river of red gold pours out.
King crabs, hundreds of them, scuttle across the table.
The crew sorts keepers from females and undersized crabs, working fast. The next pot is already on its way up.
Teamwork is critical. Every man knows his role and trusts his shipmates.
One man runs the crane, another the launcher, two sort the crab, another handles bait and coiling.
A single mistake could cost precious time.
The final pot is on board, the tank is full. Relief washes over the men.
They slap each other on the back, a silent acknowledgement of shared hardship and triumph.
They have faced the Bering Sea's fury and won.
For a greenhorn, king crab season is a brutal test of endurance.
I've spent weeks in constant exhaustion and fear, seasick, frozen, and worked harder than I thought possible. My hands are covered in cuts and blisters. I've been yelled at, pushed to my limits, and forced to do the dirtiest jobs.
The learning curve is steep. A greenhorn must learn everything on the fly, from knots to coiling rope, all while staying alive. The veteran crew has little patience for mistakes. Out here, mistakes can be fatal.
I've been on the receiving end of plenty of angry shouts, but I know it's about survival. I have to prove I can be trusted.
Every greenhorn considers quitting. For Kevin, it was during a storm, convinced he'd die.
I wandered off the boat, but I saw the other men working calmly in chaos. I found a spark of determination and got back to work.
By season's end, the greenhorn is changed. Kevin moves with new confidence, earning the crew's respect through action. He's faced fear, pushed through pain, and become part of the brotherhood. As the boat heads for home, he looks at the sea with accomplishment, not terror. He survived the Bering Sea, a badge of honor he'll carry for life. The transformation is complete. The trip back to Dutch Harbor is a world away from the chaos of fishing. The engines hum, and for the first time in weeks, there's no pressure.
The first thing most of us do is sleep, collapsing into bunks, fully clothed, for 18 hours straight.
When they wake, the mood is light. The men gather in the galley, sharing stories and jokes, finally enjoying hot meals.
I'm planning to buy a new truck. Someone else dreams of a family vacation.
The galley is filled with laughter and camaraderie. There's time for reflection as the boat steams through calmer waters. They think about close calls, moments of fear, and the wild beauty of the Bering Sea.
As land appears on the horizon, excitement builds. Dutch Harbor means safety, solid ground, and the end of the journey. It means a hot shower, a soft bed, and a call home. The relief is overwhelming. We made it. We conquered the sea for another season. The journey is almost over. The promise of home is the sweetest reward.
Sailing into Dutch Harbor is pure triumph. The fleet is already there, a community of survivors.
As the northwestern docks, lines are thrown and secured, the engines are cut and a profound silence falls.
The first order of business, offload the crab. A giant crane lowers a basket into the tank, and the crew guides the prize out. Ton after ton is lifted and weighed. The final tally is announced, and the captain calculates the crew's share.
Once offload is complete, the men are free. They step onto solid ground, a little unsteady after weeks at sea. Their first stop, a local bar, headquarters of the fishing fleet. Here they relax, swap stories, and celebrate survival.
The next day, the boat is quiet. The deck, once chaotic, is now clean and empty. The stacked pots sit silently, waiting for next season. The crew is gone, heading home. The captain stays behind, overseeing repairs and preparing the boat for rest. He walks the empty deck, the silence a stark contrast to the season's fury. The boat feels like a sleeping giant, and the captain, its weary guardian, can finally rest. Why do they do it? The money is a big part. A good season can provide a year's income in weeks.
The lure of a big payday is powerful. It helps us push through the hardest moments.
But it's more than money. There's pride in this work, a tradition of battling the sea for generations. These men test themselves against nature and win. There's a purity to the work, a direct connection between effort and reward.
The bond between crew members is another reason. On a crab boat, you depend on the man next to you for your life. We work, eat, and face death together. This brotherhood lasts a lifetime.
These men are more than co-workers. They're family. The camaraderie is something special.
And then there's the call of the sea. The Bering Sea's wild beauty gets into your blood. Out here there's freedom, an escape from the routines of life on land. For these fishermen, the sea is part of who they are.
No matter how hard the season, we know we'll answer the call of the crab once more.